Hi everyone, I'm so excited to be back. I know it's been a minute, but for those who are not familiar with this channel, my name is Debbie Adeboyejo and this is Entrepreneur with Debbie, and you're welcome to this channel. What we do here is we try to raise a community of better informed budding entrepreneurs across Africa, and we do this by sharing knowledge. And I'm so excited to be talking about something very interesting today. So this video was actually inspired by a post I put up on Instagram, and I later then asked people to send in, questions. So more or less like a question poll where you send in just one challenge that you have faced while running your business or while trying to implement your business idea. And thank you all for everyone who responded, because I had like a pool of questions. I literally had to go like, yo, people are having challenges running their business. And I mean, that's the crux, that's the reason for this channel, to help each person out, or to help as much people as we can. It's going to be 1 or 2 or 3 questions per video session. But for this particular video session, it's just going to be one question, because this is a question that I realized came, I think, 2-3 times, so the frequency of the question was a bit high. So I decided to just break it down in one video session, because it's also a very important question. And what is this about? It's basically putting together a pitch deck. So there are several reasons why you may want to put together a pitch deck as a business owner, or maybe you have a business idea that you have been cooking or you're trying to implement. Okay, so there's several reasons to want to put together a pitch deck. You might be trying to raise or get investment from a venture capitalist or an angel investor, or you're trying to get financing for your business, or you're trying to enroll in a competition, maybe an entrepreneurship competition, or you're just trying to re-strategize basically, and you're trying to have like a synopsis of what your business is all about, or you're just trying to put pen to paper that business idea that you have been nurturing for quite a while. There's so many reasons why you might want to create a pitch deck. So today, the crux of this entire video is to tell you what your pitch deck should contain. Like a winning pitch deck, this is how it's meant to look like, or these are the things that you should have in a pitch deck that can win you money, that can catch the attention of venture capitalists, that can, get you that emotional attachment from fantastic angel investors. So what should your pitch deck actually contain? I usually like to allow for creativity, because your pitch deck shouldn't necessarily look like someone else's pitch deck. There should be that creativity, that makes for, it should be interesting at the end of the day. And the variety, the spice should be there. So the first thing I would say is your team. Now you can decide to start or end with your team. However, one thing that you shouldn't miss out here is you need to include the competence, the skill, and the experience of your team members. Now what this does is it validates the fact that you have capable hands to run this business successfully. And another thing is you need to get team members that are skilled in the sector that you are trying to establish your venture in. This just shows your venture capitalist or angel investor that you have got capable hands who really understand the business of the business that you're trying to, sell to them. They understand how the industry here works. So that's the first thing for me, and it could be the last thing for you. It really doesn't matter. So more importantly, another thing that should follow that is the problem identification. You need to identify the problem. So how do you identify the problem? You can look at the society, or you can look at the said competition. So how do you do this? You look at the production process. Is there a way you can simplify the production process? Is there a way you can hasten the production process? I mean, this is the tech age. You can just input technology and everything changes within the twinkle of an eye. Or you can look at the actual product or service itself. Is there a way you can repackage it that will make it look, more attractive, and you can put a higher price on it? So meaning you can look at the market pricing. Is there a way you can sell the same commodity at a lower price and then still not run at a loss, or still not run the business at a loss? Another thing you can look at here will be the ease of accessibility of this product in the market. Okay, secondly, you move on to talking about your solution. So talk about your solution, and I don't want you to get things mixed up here. When you're talking about your solution, do not scratch the surface. You need to go in depth. Whilst you're going in depth, you need to be specific. Hit the nail on the head. Another thing that can help you here is you could have pictures to help you with the presentation at this point. So it's called pictorial representation, because what usually happens with venture capitalists here is what they see sticks faster and better than what they hear. So if you have like pictorial representation, they get they have a picture of this solution that you are painting to them, especially if you have a product, maybe it's an application or it's a branded t-shirt, something, you know, you need to ensure that you have like a pictorial representation of what the solution is all about. Then the third thing you need to have on your pitch deck is, or the third thing in that order, is you need to talk about the market analysis. Now what you typically do here is the result from your market research is used to justify your target market. Why are you targeting this market? Of the millions of people in Africa, why are you targeting this percentage? You know, so you need to do your market analysis, and you need to use the result from this analysis to justify your target market. This makes the venture capitalist or whoever you're pitching to believe that this idea can actually sell. Because at the end of the day, your idea might be beautiful, your idea might be ingenious, it might be innovative, but if it cannot sell, it's pretty much just an idea. Yeah, so this market analysis is actually very important. Then you can move on to the next slide, can then talk about your unique selling features. Sorry, before you talk about your unique selling features, you must also endeavor in the third slide to talk about the characteristic or the special features of this target market that I talked about. Okay, so moving on to the fourth slide, you talk about your unique selling proposition or your unique selling feature against competitor offerings. So how you drive home the message here is you can come up with conceptual mapping where you look at these competitors and look at the two major things that work for them. Probably it's the convenience, their products are easily accessible, so that's like convenience, or the pricing, the prices are affordable. So those are two factors that really work for your competitors. So what you then do is, using these two factors or four factors, you come up with a map, and then you place these different competitors where they are meant to be. You rank them, and then you also place yourself. So with these competing factors in the market, where do I stand as a business owner that is actually just coming into that market, or that has been in that market for a bit, who is trying to expand or trying to make more money? I mean, for whatever reason you're putting your pitch deck together for. And what this does, it helps you know if your business is actually going to survive, if your business is actually worth the investment, really. So that's what the conceptual mapping does. It helps you know where you are in the competitive market, so you know if you're in a red ocean or you're in a blue ocean. So now that you have the attention of the venture capitalist or the angel investor, because usually you get the attention from the point where you begin to talk about your market analysis or the result from your market research to validate the target market and all of that. So you leverage on the attention you've gotten so far, and guess what? You talk about the value proposition. So the trick here is you talk about value proposition to the major stakeholders in that business. Take for instance, if you are pitching to a venture capitalist, you start off your value proposition by talking about the value that your business idea has towards that venture capitalist. Now, if you're pitching for partnership and the people you want to partner with are the ones you're pitching to, you first of all talk about your value proposition to partners. I hope I've been able to explain that very well. The next slide should then talk about the model that you're adopting for this business. Now, what this is about is what are the strategies that you're going to be using in this business. So it could be your route to market, it could be your sales strategy, it could be your risk strategy, whatever strategy you're going to be adopting in the implementation of this business. You need to talk about it at this point in this slide, just after the value proposition. Now, venture capitalists are usually interested in this point, because they need to know if you understand the market. They need to know if you understand how to maneuver the market. They need to know if you know how to avoid risks, if it's a low risk or a high risk business, and what your strategy is in the long run. Another thing that you can do at this point is you need to ensure that your strategy aligns with the different growth stages of your business. So you need to have a strategy for the inception stage. You need to probably have a different strategy for the first year. You need to probably have a different strategy for the second year, because the strategy you used in the first year might not necessarily work in the second year. So you need to ensure that you have a roadmap with timelines, time strategies to growth stages. Okay, now the next slide should talk about your financials. This is very important, and trust me, even angel investors, partners, venture capitalists are usually very, very attentive at this point. Now, your financials should include things like your annual revenue, your annual or your monthly sales. You need to ensure that your figures are consistent across board. That's another thing. You also need to ensure that you include your break-even point. Trust me, no one is going to give you money when they cannot pick the point in your business when you are going to break even. Now, breaking even, I talked about the meaning of break even, or how you break even in business in previous videos, so you might want to watch previous videos to understand the break-even point. So you need to include your break-even points in your business in this slide as well. And then another thing is, if yours is a business idea that hasn't even started, you do not need to stress yourself about having a cash flow statement or a balance sheet or a profit and loss statement and all of that, because you're just starting. But you need to have estimated monthly revenue, estimated annual revenue, estimated sales, estimated break-even point, and all of those things. I need to ensure that your figures are consistent across board. So another thing that can help you with your financials is for you to include it's called a profit and loss forecast, and it typically shows like the worst, the average, and the best case scenario. So it will typically show you like the worst case scenario for a profit or a loss in the business. It will show you like the best case scenario when you make profit, or when you run at a loss at the business. But that's not our prayer. The prayer is for all of us to make profit in the business. So at this juncture, you say thank you, and you should have supplementary slides follow. Now, your supplementary slides are not expected to be presented. Your supplementary slides are just there so that when you have the question and answer, or for the question and answer segment rather, it will help you to validate some of your answers. And then when they ask questions, you can just quickly scroll to your supplementary slides, and then you don't have to mumble jumble statistics and all of that. You can take them through the process in your supplementary slide. So typically your supplementary slide is expected to have like risk analysis, is expected to have like your different strategies that you didn't mention earlier. It's typically expected to have like the results from your market research. Let's assume you did a primary research, or not just results, like recommendations, because usually people forget that when you do a market research, it's not just about having results, it's also about having recommendations. So there's so many things to include in your supplementary slide. I cannot exhaust the list now because this is probably supposed to be a 10 minutes video and I'm running behind time. So this video was about the content your pitch deck should have, a winning pitch deck, what it should contain. I'm so excited I was able to share this much today, and I do hope that you have learned a lot. So if you do have any question, endeavor to send your questions to my Instagram page, like send a direct message, or just send them to the email address scrolling on the screen. That's debs.oxfordstreet@gmail.com. And if you like the video, if you've enjoyed everything I've been saying, okay, so if you've enjoyed the video and you have learned a lot, do not forget to just hit that subscribe button below and follow your girl on Instagram. So much more. I talk about my everyday life as an entrepreneur on Instagram. Follow me on Facebook. Which other platform? I think Twitter. Yeah. I really don't tweet, but the grace of God is sufficient for me. Okay. Okay guys, it's been a wonderful time today talking about what your pitch deck should contain. See you guys another time when I get to answer more questions. It's still your girl Debbie at Deboyejo, and this is Entrepreneur with Debbie. To have a lovely week, and I pray that all our businesses will be successful. It's all about making money. Bye guys, thank you for your time. God bless you. Take care. Bye.